All right, what's up, guys? It's Sunday morning. It's a little snowy outside. It is what is it, 3rd of January. And I'm just sitting down here. Figured I'd do a little bit of analysis, and I saw that Bitcoin is basically had a nice little weekend and ran itself right into my one of my targets. So I think it's primed for a pullback from this region and really stands a chance to pull back by about $10,000 back to somewhere in the neighborhood of 23,760 would be an initial estimate. Although that, obviously that could vary widely. So let me I can kind of dig into, what I'm seeing here and what I think we're going to see for the rest of 2021 with Bitcoin. But I believe the easy money off of the March low is over. So if you've had the good fortune to get in, in the 3,000 to 5,000 area, you did pretty well with your money here. If you're going to take some off the table up here at 34,000, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take about half of my Bitcoin off the table and see what happens with the other half. I'm going to be placing stops down below 20,000 for me, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, so let me just get into the overall structure here on Bitcoin, what I think is happening. And I've switched from using Coinbase as my information provider to Bitstamp. And I believe the Bitstamp chart does a much better job of telling us what's happening in Bitcoin back to an earlier time frame. If I pull up the weekly chart on Bitcoin, I think we're in an impulse. And I think Bitcoin's in the third wave of an impulse. And, I don't want to be too attached to the impulse. And there's several reasons for that. One is because this should start acting like a currency at some point in time. You can't have, infinite growth in Bitcoin. You would have finite growth. You'll have some parabolic growth as it moves towards acceptance, but you don't have the opportunity for infinite growth because it can't grow in and of itself. The only thing that forces Bitcoin to grow is, the propensity for nation states to, debase the value of their fiat currency. So, I'm not looking for parabolic growth in Bitcoin for forever. So I do want to watch out in just blindly following an impulsive pattern. But up until this point, it seems to be impulsive. And there's not enough history and data for me to just, for me to clearly say where we are. I have to kind of extrapolate based upon mathematical ratios as far as, how far we've moved from one consolidation to the next. And this is my overarching viewpoint. Seems a little confusing, but I'm saying that there would have been an initial 1-2 back here prior to 2012, and that's that's putting us into the heart of this third wave. And you can say that how can there be price activity before it existed? And that's not entirely true. It's before it existed publicly. I'm sure there were people that believed in this system, as they were creating it, and maybe a group of investors or people that were getting it off the ground that had a belief in what it could do. And back when we're talking about just $1.20 or 4 cents, right? That's about how much belief people had in it. And that makes sense. But now we're talking about $40,000, $35,000, $40,000. So it's gaining that acceptance, and at quite a rapid pace. the thing that leads me most to count us as being nearing the end of a third wave of a larger impulse is some of the substructure items that I see within the ramp from 2015 to 2018 rather, and the shape of those movements and the ratios between these. If we zoom in and we look at the move, this is a very nice impulsive structure from, if we look at the zero line here that I have at $2.22 and the 1236 extension up here at 12,950. That is a very nice third wave of an impulse, counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And and what's really nice about that is, we maintained tight impulsive structure, but then this portion here extended. And third waves do that. They jump from, they correct at the 786, back to the 618, and then they extend up to the 1236 with hardly any pullbacks, and almost all those pullbacks occur, in the initial part of the wave, where you have a series of 1-2s, right, until the thing explodes upward, and then you see virtually no pullbacks at all. And that's really kind of hallmark stuff for fifth wave of third waves. So that's really the basis for my positioning, for how I'm positioning myself within the larger structure of the market. So if this was the fifth wave of a third wave, this would then be a fourth wave consolidation before we head up, and now before we head up into the fifth of a larger degree third wave in my estimation. And we're moving through that wave now. If we look at the consolidation that we had since, from 2017 through the course of 2020, I'm going to view it as a running flat in a way. I like to view this as an A, B, C. This is a B wave higher, and then this is a fifth wave, a diagonal, a five wave, an ugly five wave diagonal for a C wave of this consolidation. And now we're having this, an impulse pattern. I just moved something I didn't want to. I'll lock that. And now we're in the heart of an impulse off of that 2020 low and headed for a projected target. My projected target is $128,750 per Bitcoin somewhere in maybe August or September of 2021. So maybe, what's his face? Maybe John McAfee won't have to eat his own penis. If you don't know that reference, maybe you want to look it up. And we're through the easy part of that impulsive structure, and we're getting into the part now where we're going to see some big chop. If we go into let me go to like a 4-hour view, and then it'll give us a better look at the local structure here. Again, for me, this portion here off of this low counts very nice as a third wave of an impulse, right? The relationships are represented by this yellow fib structure. We have a very clean impulsive pattern. As this thing is just starting to get organized, we have a deep pullback, and then we move into this, this hallmark third of third activity, and the fifth of the third is just, this pullbackless move that we see now, and I think that's where we are presently. Since I've started this video, we've already pulled back about $1,200 per Bitcoin. So I believe we may be entering this wave 4 consolidation. Now it's going to be difficult for me to say about about how far back this would come. If we are exhausting ourselves and heading up and completing this structure, then I would expect to see some of these pullbacks start to take longer. Now we're still within a third wave. Right now we're within the third of the third, so we're still within a third wave. So this pullback could be shallow and sharp, but I'm expecting to see these pullbacks start to take more time and be a little bit more grinding. So, I'm leaving the door open for, maybe just a sharp pullback to 26,000 and then gas it higher to 54,000 before a more, a larger consolidation back again into the 30,000 range. So I'm not calling the top in Bitcoin here. I'm just calling, for a quicker and more sharp consolidation to occur from around this level back to anywhere in between 26,000. It could go as low as 18.5, but I would not be expecting a move like that. I'm in the camp that we see somewhere between $24,000 and $26,000 on a pullback here, and it could be very sharp. I would probably take a quarter, so I'm taking a half off here. What I'll probably do is I'll probably go and maybe make like an options play and go for this with some options using only a portion of the money that I took off the table. I might go back in with like a quarter of the money I'm taking off the table. I'd be looking to put more on over here in this area if this pattern plays out, because this is going to be a move from roughly 35,000 that could lead us up as high as 8-hour chart. I believe I mentioned this. Why did everything just disappear? What are you doing to me? Let's go to a daily. Again, that pullback to 35,000, I'll be buying that because that run could potentially run as high as $116,000, $125,000 before we see topping. So that could be a very substantial run up that I don't really want to miss. So we're just probing for now. We're seeing what's happening. I don't want to get too aggressive, but I want to protect the profits that I've got so far. I do see the potential for a very large pullback once we get up into the 125,000 region, potentially as deep as $5,600. It might sound absolutely crazy to say that, but that's just looking at the chart and using the methods that I normally use. That's my expectation. So there you go. Just a brief update on Bitcoin here from somebody that certainly don't follow the crypto community very well as far as what's happening, what the hot trends are. But I just follow the charts, and I only follow Bitcoin anymore. I'm not really interested in any of the altcoins or Ethereum. This one is gaining acceptance and it's acting well, so I'm just going to follow it. So there you go. Something to think about if you're into this sort of thing. Maybe it may be some time to trim here and play around with some of your holdings because things could get a little bit more interesting. So that's it. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I might try to put out an S&P 500 video later this afternoon. We'll see how it goes. All right. Happy New Year.